G'day guys, what's cracking? It's Ralph here, and today I want to talk about the place where drones go to die. Just not working. Gosh. Oh, it's so good. This is where I am. That's the Opera House behind me. And Sydney Harbour isn't where the drones go to die, although you're not allowed to actually fly a drone over the Opera House. I didn't discover that by doing it. I discovered that by some research and getting one wrong question on the test, which is, can you fly over the Opera House? And the answer is no. Having been here, there are helicopters everywhere, so that makes complete sense. But the issue is bigger than that. You might have been tracking along with my FPV journey about learning to fly FPV and getting better at it. And three things converged at once. DJI brought out their FPV drone, and oh man, I was pumped, I was excited. I woke up in the morning, had all these texts from mates saying, hey, look what's coming, and then just spent like the next hour watching epic promo videos of it from the likes of Pete McKinnon and Maddie Hoapapadaji, and sorry Maddie, I can't ever pronounce your name correctly, and then DJI and a few others. I'm like, this is going to be sick. So that happened at the same time as I got fairly good at FPV. Like, got some skills now. I'm like, oh, the planets are aligning. And those two things happened at the same time as CASA, which is the Civil Aviation Authority of Australia, decided to bring out their rules. And let me read for you from the website. You do not need CASA approval, this is about FPV, if you only intend to operate FPV indoors for recreational purposes. Right, yeah, good one. Flying FPV outdoors is only permitted with CASA approval. This applies to both recreational and commercial drone users. If you want to fly FPV outdoors in Australia, so there's an option, you must do this. Apply for CASA approval to operate the FPV recreationally, or a number of other things. So I'm like, sweet, let's apply for some CASA approval. It can't be that hard. Now I know a few FPV pilots, and so I had a chat to them, and they're like, there's no way you're going to get it. It's basically, the only allowance for it is recreational racing where you have a spotter next to you. But I'm a bit of an optimist, not to be deterred, so jumped on the website, went through, filled in the forms, and 3 days later, folks, 3 days later, guess what happened? I got the following email. It's entitled Official. I think it's official. Good afternoon, Ralph. Thank you for contacting CASA with your application seeking FPV approval. Thank you. Currently, the application as submitted to CASA is incomplete. It wasn't really. And as such, would not allow CASA to issue a fee estimate of payment to proceed to processing. So basically, if I'd have succeeded at the application, I then would have got a quote of how much it was going to cost me to, I guess, get approval. I don't know how much that is. But to proceed with your application, the following documents must be supplied and deemed satisfactory. Here are the following satisfactory documents required. Written procedure of how the activity is to be conducted, which must include documentation version control. I don't know what that is. Evidence, if required, of stakeholder engagement that may be affected by the aircraft activities. So basically, if you're going to fly over or from someone's land, you need their approval. So it's not going to happen, is it? Okay, evidence, if required, from relevant landowner understanding this is over the ocean. Is the area part of a marine park controlled by another authority? So I'd have to then get marine approval. So if I want to fly it over the land, I have to get council approval, and if it goes over the sea, I have to get marine approval. We're not finished. A safety case and risk assessment. Please see attached information for risk, and the proposed area of operation must be clearly defined by coordinates. So you've got to put GPS down on where you're actually going to fly. Like, I just want to fly around the world. Anyway, additionally, FPV approvals are granted to operations of a FPV model aircraft utilizing the dedicated spotter who is able to visually see the aircraft at all times without visual aids. And here is the problem with FPV in Australia, guys. FPV means you put on goggles, it's first person view. It means you see everything the drone sees, which means you have no peripheral vision. You have no idea where the drone's going, if it's going up, down, backwards, forwards, other than what you can actually see. And there hence is the danger that CASA are wanting to guard and protect people against. The frustrating thing is that basically, unless you're a professional FPV pilot who races in a controlled, specific environment with total permission to do so, FPVs have been banned in Australia, and that makes me sad. A mate of mine was talking about the fact that most are custom built before the DJI brought this out. Because they're custom built, there is the risk that they might explode in midair or crash into someone or do any of those sort of things. However, that's not the risk that they're wanting to mitigate against. They're actually wanting to guard against the fact that you can't see where the drone's going to be at all times unless you have all those other things and a spotter. So folks, this is where my FPV journey ends, and I was about a year too late. Yeah, I know. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video and you like my other videos, please have a look at them. Enjoy the channel. If you haven't subscribed, please do so already. Give us a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. The DJI, that was the DJI. It's raining. There's not a cloud in the sky.